Have you ever wondered if doing the right thing could end up destroying everything instead of saving it? What if the hero who was supposed to bring salvation actually unleashed the end of the world? That's the haunting question at the heart of The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson, the final chapter in the Mistborn trilogy. It's a story of sacrifice, identity, destiny, and the painful cost of hope. If you think you've read fantasy before, prepare yourself. This book doesn't just break the rules, it rewrites them. This isn't about good versus evil. It's about chaos versus purpose, and the clock is running out. When we left off in the Well of Ascension, Vin had just made a choice that would change the fate of the world. Believing she was doing the right thing, she released a mysterious force trapped within the well. That force was Ruin, an ancient godlike being who thrives on destruction. She thought she was fulfilling a prophecy and saving the world. Instead, she may have doomed it. Now that Ruin is free, the planet itself is unraveling. Ash falls from the sky in relentless sheets. The mists that once only appeared at night now linger during the day and have begun killing people. Crops are dying. Earthquakes tear cities apart. Society is collapsing, and no one knows how to stop it. Vin, once a street urchin, and now the most powerful Mistborn alive, feels the weight of that mistake pressing on her every moment. She spent her life being used by others, from thieving crews to noblemen to ancient gods, and now she doesn't know whether she's a savior or a weapon. As the world spirals further into chaos, Vin's powers continue to grow. But the more power she gains, the more she questions her own role. Is she a force of preservation or a puppet of ruin? What if both are true? At her side is Elend, the former idealist turned hardened emperor. He was once a scholar who believed in democracy and justice. Now, he's a Mistborn general, leading a crumbling empire against time itself. After swallowing a bead of Lerasium at the well, Elend has become an allomancer like Vin, but his newfound strength doesn't make his choices any easier. As ruler of the final empire, Elend races across the continent trying to unlock hidden storage caches left behind by the Lord Ruler. These caches may hold food, supplies, and answers, but each one reveals more disturbing truths. The Lord Ruler, once seen as a tyrant, had been holding back something far worse than anyone ever imagined. He wasn't just controlling the world, he was keeping it alive. Through Elend and Vin's journey, we start to see the depth of Sanderson's world-building unfold in remarkable ways. The three known magic systems, allomancy, feruchemy, and hymnology, begin to reveal their true connections. Allomancy is the power of preservation, feruchemy is a balance of preservation and ruin, and hymnology belongs entirely to ruin. This knowledge becomes a critical weapon as our heroes begin to understand how their enemies have been using hymnology to twist people into monstrous beings, and how ruin uses the process to gain control over minds. The central villain of the book isn't someone with a throne or a sword. Ruin is an invisible force, a whisper in your mind, a distortion in your memory. It can't be fought with armies. It can't be imprisoned. Ruin's greatest strength is its ability to change things. Messages, metal plates, even the written word. It manipulates events from behind the scenes, turning allies into enemies, planting seeds of doubt, and altering reality to its advantage. And worst of all, no one can prove it's happening. How do you fight an enemy that controls perception itself? Sazed, the talisman keeper, who once held all the world's religions in his mind, takes a different path from Vin and Elend. Still grieving the loss of Tindwyl, Sazed falls into a deep crisis of faith. He begins to study every religion he has ever recorded, searching for one that can bring him hope. But each one falls short. He starts to believe that faith itself may be a lie. His story is quieter than the war-torn journeys of Vin and Elend, but no less powerful. Sazed's inner battle with belief and identity reflects one of the book's biggest questions. How do you hold on to hope when the world is crumbling around you? Meanwhile, another unlikely hero rises from the shadows, Spook. Once considered the quiet kid in Kelsier's crew, Spook finds himself alone in a devastated city, plagued by corruption and violence. He becomes something new, imbued with strange powers that border on madness. He begins to see himself as the next survivor. Guided by mysterious messages and the lingering inspiration of Kelsier's legacy, Spook takes a dark and transformative journey that parallels Vin's rise in the final empire. His storyline, which might have seemed minor at first, becomes one of the most compelling in the book. As all these storylines begin to converge, the true nature of prophecy is unraveled. The hero of ages, the figure so many have looked toward for salvation, is not what anyone thought. Prophecies have been manipulated. History has been rewritten. Even the legends of Elend and Rashek, the heroes of the past, are nothing like what they seemed. The realization hits hard. The world wasn't waiting for a savior. It was being set up for destruction all along. Vin begins to understand that her connection to the mists and the metals is more than just allomancy. She is a vessel, a focal point of power. She has become the last hope of preservation. But in order to stop ruin, she may need to give up everything. The tension builds as the characters get closer to the final clash. Elend prepares his armies for one last stand. Vin dives into the heart of the mystery. Sazed faces the ultimate truth about the religions he once treasured. Spook fights to redeem a city torn apart by fear. Then comes the final act. It is not a single battle, but a series of revelations and sacrifices that shake the very foundation of the story. The hidden truth about atium is finally revealed. It is not just a powerful metal, it is the physical body of ruin, a source of divine energy. And Vin realizes the horrifying scale of the mistake made at the Well of Ascension. But it's not too late. Not yet. Elend charges into war, knowing the odds are hopeless. Vin unleashes her full power, even as it threatens to consume her. The end is fast, brutal, and breathtaking. Characters we've followed from the beginning are tested in ways that feel raw and real. And in the moment of ultimate sacrifice, Vin becomes more than a Mistborn. She becomes something immortal, something divine. But even gods die. Vin destroys, ruin. In doing so, she herself is destroyed. Elend dies as well, refusing to leave her side. It's a love story wrapped in cosmic tragedy. But their sacrifice is not the end. It is a new beginning. Sazed discovers the final piece of the puzzle, the truth buried in every religion, the shard of knowledge hidden in every story. He takes up the powers of both ruin and preservation. And in that moment, he becomes harmony, a god who remembers what it is to be human. Sazed rebuilds the world. He reshapes the land, repairs the sun, restores the balance. But he does not rule. He watches, he guides, and he records. What is left behind is a world born from sacrifice. A world not saved by prophecy or destiny, but by people who chose to fight when it mattered most. The Hero of Ages is a masterclass in how to end a trilogy. Brandon Sanderson doesn't just deliver a satisfying conclusion. He delivers one that elevates everything that came before. Every plot thread matters. Every character arc has meaning. The twists aren't just clever. They're earned. The world is bigger, the magic deeper, and the emotion stronger than ever. If you're the kind of listener who wants a story that will challenge your expectations, break your heart, and leave you in awe, this is the audiobook for you. It's not just about epic battles and magical powers. It's about faith, love, legacy, and the cost of doing what's right even when it hurts. This book doesn't hand you easy answers. It asks hard questions and then dares you to answer them yourself. The Hero of Ages reminds us that the end is never really the end. Sometimes it's the beginning of something better. And sometimes the real heroes are the ones willing to lose everything for a chance to give the world one more sunrise. If you've made it this far in the Mistborn journey, you owe it to yourself to finish it with this unforgettable conclusion. Press play, let the mists rise, and witness the moment where legends